Alright, hello and welcome guys. We're going to be taking a look at some stuff from E3. This is just going to be some of the stuff that I'm more interested in personally. So if I skip out on one of your favorite games, I apologize ahead of time. I'm not going to take a look at everything because as you can see, there's a ton that came out and was revealed. I wouldn't say that there was too much that was just revealed for the first time, but they did go into depth in some pretty cool things, so I want to show those off. So yeah, this is e3recap.com. It's a pretty cool site that just shows off all of the trailers. You don't have to look around at all these different IGNs and GameSpots and all that. It has it all in one place, all the trailers that you're looking for. So yeah. Alright, let's take a look at the first game on my list, and that is going to be Anthem, which is a game from BioWare. It's their new game, it's their new big thing that they're doing, and they just showed off a game demo. So we're going to be taking a look at that. So yeah, this is the game running in real time, as it says here, apparently. Obviously, you got to take this with a little bit of a grain of salt, just because this is E3. They're trying to put their best foot forward. So maybe some of these graphics are a little bit accentuated, shall we say. Maybe they put in a little bit of extra effort into making it look as good as possible. But, you know, it still looks great, I'm sure. And it's BioWare, so you can usually expect them to do a really good job. Let's just kind of skip forward. This is just more of setup more than anything else. I want to show you guys some of the actual gameplay. So let's kind of pull this up. Give it a full screen treatment.
Bam. Looking good. Nice. You got a mortar equipped.
So yeah, one of the cool things about the game, it seems like you're going to be moving around a big open world space. You're going to be flying around. You have rockets, obviously, that you have on your suit. You're going to be having different suits to choose from, I guess. They didn't go into too much detail about it yet. This is pretty much the longest trailer we've seen of it. The first time that we've seen actual gameplay from the game as well. So it's really just, you know, kind of a vertical slice of it. And since it's coming out in 2018, I think they said towards the later part of 2018, it's going to be a while before we get to see it. Maybe some of it will change a little bit as well. So here's one of the big guys that you're going to be fighting. They kind of chickened out, though. They probably didn't want to show off too much, so... But the world, look at the world. I mean, this is all open world. This is you traveling through it. You can even go into the water as well. I haven't really seen too many games where you can go underwater, and usually when you can, it's not a lot of fun. It's just kind of a pain in the ass for the most part. But who knows? Maybe they'll do it better. So what this kind of reminded me of, a lot of what other people have said, is it sounds like this is BioWare's answer to Destiny. So that does put a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, just because I'm more used to BioWare doing single player stuff, and I'm really more about the story and that sort of thing. And this sounds like it does have a story, so maybe there's like part story and then part just multiplayer gameplay focus. It seems like in all likelihood this is going to be a bit more focused on gameplay. So it's a bit of a departure for what BioWare, you know, is known for. Obviously they had the Star Wars The Old Republic, so it's not like they haven't done this with one of their studios, but for the most part, yeah, they just do single player stuff. That looks really cool. Having these like big epic monsters to fight, like that sounds like something I'm still going to be interested in, even if I am just a little bit let down by the lack of a single player title to really dig into by myself. All right, that's Anthem. So going to be looking more at some other things real quick. So announced at E3 is a Wolfenstein 2. This is another big one from Bethesda. They have the old Wolfenstein that was really, hailed as this really good game. I played it a bit. I didn't like it as much as some people did, but I still really enjoyed it. I played through it, and for me, if you get from the beginning to the end of a game, obviously you like it. I'll just quit if I don't like something. So, yeah, this is the reveal trailer for that. Take a look at it real quick. You can get more to the actual game. Did they show it off? Yeah, more towards the end they show off the gameplay. At the beginning it was this really long, weird trailer. But yeah, here we go. The gameplay for this game looks great. Wolfenstein, it really had that kind of visceral, in-your-face combat that I enjoyed quite a bit. And this looks like it might even do it better, which is pretty cool. I like the style as well. It seems like they're doing a bit more with characters in the world, which they did a bit in the first Wolfenstein, but it seems like there's more like camaraderie and that sort of thing in this game as compared to the older game, which I'm excited for. The old Wolfenstein had a lot of just straight combat and more just moving from level to level, and I didn't really care too much about the characters in that game. This seems like maybe they're trying to make you care a little bit more about the world. So here's kind of a weird part. This guy just dropped acid. Yeah. So that's Wolfenstein 2. Looks cool. I am interested in it. So that looks like it's going to be good. Just touching real quick on some of the other stuff that Bethesda dropped. Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, that's going to be DLC for Dishonored 2. The Evil Within, that's another thing that they put out as well. And then down here, this is one that I wanted to get into a little bit more. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. So anyone that's seen the old Ori and the Blind Forest, that was a beautiful game, and this is no exception to that. Just taking a look at the trailer for this. Skip a little bit ahead. This is something I'm pretty excited for. More for the whole like experience of the game instead of just one thing like gameplay, story, or that sort of thing. Ori was more about the overall experience and seeing things that are really beautiful and more of like an aesthetic game than just straight gameplay. But the gameplay was really good as well. So yeah, this got dropped. I think it was the either first or second day of E3 they started talking about it. So that is something that I'm pretty excited about. I have Ori and the Will of the Wisps. So that's coming out for Xbox 360, Windows, not on PS4 apparently. Just leave this open so I know what I've gone over already. There was also Life is Strange. So that's like... I wouldn't say that it's season 2, because they only said it was 3 episodes, and it's sort of a prequel thing, but it looks cool. I don't know how good it's gonna be, but that's something that I saw that I was looking into a bit. So now up here we have XCOM 2. That's something I was interested in. This is just an expansion of some sort. They're adding a bunch of new stuff to that. Alright, so let's go up. What are some of the things? So Griftlands was another thing that I was looking into. This is something from Clay, the guys that just put out Oxygen Not Included. They put out the survival game. I can't remember the name of it. It's just off the top of my head. Can't remember what it's called for some reason. It'll come to me 20 minutes after I finish doing this video. This is more of a setup here. What does the game actually look like? There we go. So this seems kind of cool. It has some sort of turn-based combat elements, and then it has, I don't know, it seems almost JRPG-esque, but I'm not really sure what they're doing with it. So this whole thing seems kind of vague as to what the game really is, how it plays and that sort of thing. But I am really interested in it because it's Clay and they've done quite a few things. Don't Starve. That's the game that I was thinking of. Alright, finally got it. And then there's Wargroove, which is another game that I was interested in. This is just kind of simple. It won't take too long on it. It's just turn-based strategy game. Chucklefish, so I think those are the people. They either made Terraria or Starbound, one of the two. Pretty sure. So this is kind of like Fire Emblem style turn-based strategy. I always love these sorts of games. It seems like it's kind of simple. There's also an online element to it as well as a 12 campaign sort of story mode thing, so that looks pretty cool. Speaking of turn-based, Mario plus Rabbids. Now this this is something that I was pretty confused by. I think a lot of people were. We have Mario meeting with the Rabbids. Like, I didn't even know what a rabbit was, honestly, until this came up. And there you go. Apparently this is going to be a thing. So this is another sort of turn-based strategy thing when you actually get into the real meat of it. It's going up here. But yeah, here's the actual battles. It's so weird. They've done so many interesting things with Mario. They just go all over the place. They got Super Mario RPG way back in the day. I love that game, by the way. And then now they're going into turn-based strategy. Like, where did that come from? And why did they choose Rabbids to go with it? Who knows? I have no idea. All I know is this actually looks kind of cool. You wouldn't think about it. Like, when you first think Mario plus these kind of dumb-looking rabbit guys, you're like, what? Why would I ever play this? But looking at it more, I don't know. Maybe I would play it. If it's only on Switch, which I'm guessing it probably is, I don't particularly care too much about Switch. So, yet. I did like Zelda, obviously. Looks really cool. But is that gonna get me to buy a Switch? Probably not. There's also a phone South Park game that they mentioned here. Just kind of interesting. Here was one of the other big announcements that we had. Beyond Good and Evil 2. Now, they didn't really reveal too much. It says reveal, but it's kind of revealed for the second time. Interesting. The video is unavailable. I guess I can't really show too much, but just know that this is the second or third, or who knows how many times they've revealed Beyond Good and Evil 2. It is one of those games. It's one of those games they just reveal over and over, and it never really gets to a completed state. But maybe this time it'll actually come out. They did have a really big trailer for it. They made a big deal out of it. They have shown a trailer before, though, so keep that in mind. But we can hope. We can pray for Beyond Good and Evil 2, and that could be a thing that happens. So let's go up a little bit and take a look at some of this other stuff. Uncharted, that's something that people care a lot about. I haven't personally played a ton of the Uncharted games. It's something I'll get to eventually. Horizon Zero Dawn: The Frozen Wilds. You can take a really quick look at this. This is something I'm interested in, but it is just DLC. It sounds like it's not like a huge expansion or anything really big, at least from what I can tell. And yeah, so take it or leave it. I guess it's just something you can get if you want a little bit more of Horizon Zero Dawn. And then we have Days Gone, another game. This one is by Sony's Bend Studio. This is one that's already been announced before, but now they have more of a game demo for you to look at. So let's open this up a little bit. See if I can show off some of the more interesting parts. So it shows a bit more of how the game is actually going to play here. Up here. Yeah, so you're kind of like walking around, you're exploring. I wouldn't call it open world. This is something that was really weird that happened, by the way. Yes, those things on the right are real people. Apparently they wanted to go all the way with this. So, yeah, it's sort of open, but it's more open in the way that I think Uncharted is open, and you know, that sort of thing. You can kind of tackle things from different angles. You can kind of choose how you deal with some of the things that come up. And this shows off that. So here we have the guy set off a trap. Kind of take him out. But one of the more interesting parts of this happens a little bit later, and that's the... Let's see... part here. Yeah, so I have this that you can do, and you can kind of use your environment to your advantage. So just before this, they had seen a group of zombies. He kind of snuck past them. And now, this happens. So you can have your zombie friends come and take out this group for you. That way you don't have to shoot them up yourself. So I thought that was kind of cool. This is something that, you know, you don't see too much in other games, where it's allowing you to use your enemies to fight your enemies, and there's sort of, instead of just fighting everything yourself, some things fight each other. So that's something that I really like, and they showed more about it and showed that this is an actual game you should be interested in, not one that you should just skip over. So here we have Monster Hunter World. That is, yes, a new Monster Hunter. It's on PlayStation 4. I thought I had heard that it was also on PC, but not 100%. It does only say PlayStation 4 here. But a new Monster Hunter on an actual console instead of just the 3DS? Yes. Very interested. Want that. Especially since every time I've played Monster Hunter, it's been on, you know, the handheld, and those little buttons, man, those little buttons and the tiny screen, it just doesn't quite do the idea justice, in my opinion. I don't really have too much to say about that. It's just, if you've seen Monster Hunter before, you know what you're getting into. The difference is that you're going to have higher graphical fidelity, you're going to have a better control, and all of that stuff. And speaking of higher graphical fidelity, we have Shadow of the Colossus. Now, this is something I did not expect to see at all on PlayStation. This is Shadow of the Colossus. Now, what exactly does this mean? I don't know. They didn't say anything about this. They just threw it out there. Here's the trailer. I'm guessing this is just a remake, like a almost one-to-one, but it doesn't just look like a remaster. And they've already done the HD remaster of Shadow of the Colossus, right? So this seems more of like a full-on remake. They've done a bit to the gameplay. They've done a lot to the graphics, a ton to the graphics. So how far did they go with changing things up? Is this almost like having an entirely new Shadow of the Colossus? I don't know. Looks cool though. Definitely interested in that. So that is one of the things that I really, really was looking forward to. And then we have just a VR section. Notice that I'm skipping all the VR sections. Not too much interesting to me in those areas. But God of War, it was announced already before. I think this isn't correct. I'm pretty sure they said early 2018. So that's kind of the release window for that. They did show a little bit more about God of War here. But yeah, I don't think it's really too much that we haven't seen before. If I really look into it, they do show off that it seems it's more in like a Norse kind of area. They show a lot of the dealing with your son and kind of how that relationship is handled. But yeah, they've already kind of showed that before, so I won't go stick too long on that point. Just if you have a PlayStation 4 and you like action sorts of games, take a look at the new God of War. I didn't play too much of the old God of Wars, but this one really has me interested. Detroit Become Human, that's another one that they've showed off before. They showed off a little bit more, but didn't really show off too much, so I won't really mess with that. Still to be announced, I guess, so they don't have a hard date on it. Spider-Man. Now, usually when you see a title like Spider-Man, you say something like, crap, they're gonna make another crappy Spider-Man game. It's maybe some of the others were okay, like decent, but I don't think they've ever done, personally, I don't think they've done a Spider-Man game that's really done it justice. Now that is changing. So Insomniac Games, they did Spyro, they did Resistance, they did all those games, they did Ratchet and Clank. More recently, they did Sunset Overdrive, which not a lot of people care that much about. But they're a developer that's pretty proven, so I think that they can do Spider-Man justice. I got this. And just from looking at all of this, I'm pretty sure they can do Spider-Man justice. So let's just take a look at the gameplay for this game. So here you can kind of see how the movement works, how some of the combat works, how you interact with the environments to take down people. And this is what I've always wanted to see from a superhero game, I think. This is freaking cool. if you don't like superheroes, that's fine. If you don't like comic book characters, that's fine. Just this is still going to be a game I think that will appeal to a lot of people, even if they don't really care that much about comic books, just because the gameplay and everything is just done so well. But if you do care about comic book characters, this is something you're gonna really care about. So here we have sort of a Arkham style combat, but with some enhancements, I would say. It's not by Rocksteady, it is by Insomniac, so things are going to be a bit different than those games. But it does seem to be pretty similar. So I want to skip ahead a little bit and show off some of the bigger scenes that you're going to be doing. So they did show off this later on, and this is more of a hit the button, you know, to play the movie. that's what you're going to be dealing with here. Not as cool. I mean, personally, I like to be really in control of games, but you know, they want to have these set pieces, that's fine. As long as it's not too much of the game that is just kind of on the rails and you're pressing one button, I'd be okay with that. It is a little bit worrying that there is so much of it in this trailer. Who knows? I really don't think that it's going to be a ton of the game. And this is also cool. Traversal through the city, through webs and jumping around and swinging from building to building. This is what you want to see from a Spider-Man game. So yeah, that's that. Spider-Man looks cool. Insomniac Games, something to look forward to on the PlayStation 4. Ninokuni, another one that I'm really excited about, but they didn't show off too much that's new. That's been kind of a thing for a while. And I think that is it. So those are all the games that I'm really interested in for E3 that they revealed and announced a lot of stuff for. There are still things that I'm interested in that we already knew about and that I won't touch on in this video. Like, obviously I'm interested in Middle-earth, Shadow of War, some of these other things, Warhammer 2, Mountain Blade 2. I'm still interested in those, but I just wanted to show off some of the E3 things, give you a E3 recap, as this site is called. By the way, really good site, E3 recap, check it out. Alright, I think that's going to be it for me, so I will see you next time. This has been Melchior from Game Clouds. Have a good night, friends.